Right, how are you all? Okay, today you join me from my house, live from my house. It's at home. I did have a job I could have done today. I had a few jobs I could have possibly pulled in. I've got jobs to look at, but it's epoxy day at the end. You know what? I can't be bothered. I was planning on painting the ceiling that I plastered on Wednesday, but that's not dry enough, so I'm going to do that after a couple of afternoons next week. So I won't lose a day's money. I'll just work a little bit longer next week. But instead of that, anyway, I thought I won't waste a day. I've got jobs to do in here, so I'm going to be painting my lounge. Let me just turn you around and show you the old gaff. So here we are in the lounge, and I started painting a while ago. Let me turn the light on in here. I started painting, so it's just white. When we moved in here, which was about coming up to 5 years ago now, about 4.5 years ago, the place was a complete tip. It really was, and all the ceilings were arsex. Everything was just terrible. There was no love in this house at all. And what I did, as soon as we moved in, I skimmed all the ceilings, and I just painted everything white, complete white. Got all this flooring down, which it's an engineered oak. I think it was Wicks garden oak or something like that. So I laid all this down completely through because it's all on one level down here. All the way through the kitchen, through to that. Look at them cuts. Look, floor layer would love to be able to do that, wouldn't they? I ain't bad, I ain't bad. Anyway, so yeah, so that was that. So we had some paint left over from a job me and a mate about a year ago, and it was this colour. It's a beautiful colour actually. I think it's a Farrow and Ball colour, and it's called Skimming Stone. So I got that end of the room done with it. You can see the difference now between wall and ceiling. It's a really lovely, calm, natural colour, which goes with our style. We like it nice and chilled. We're a very chilled couple. My wife's got the little magic touch of all the little knickknacks, and I'd obviously do all the bigger stuff. So she decorates and I build. So without further ado, because I've got this day off, it gives me no excuse to sit around on my lazy ass. So I'm going to get on with just painting this. So not much to really show you in the way of work, but I might just set this camera up and waffle away. So let's crack on a bit. I will just show you the house actually. What made me really want this house when we bought it wasn't the house itself, because like any of you sort of shed guys will know. Sorry, I'm just putting my boots on, that's why this camera's all over the place. Let's let this poxy cat in. This thing drives me absolutely mad. In, out, in, out. What a pain in the ass that thing is. So what sold me the house was it didn't have none of this here, none of this pergola, none of this wall was built. This garden all came down at a weird slope. So I tried to make it a bit Mediterranean. Built my wall. Got me resin bond down, as some of you would have seen in another video. Done some planting. Built my pergola. But what it already had was obviously the garage was already here, but it already had these sheds on it. And what I loved, I mean, you know, being a painter plasterer, you can imagine this was a dream for me. It's got its own little utility in here. There's heating in here because the boiler's in the garage. Obviously, it feeds the house, but it also, whoever had it before, had this good sense to put radiators in here. So I've got hot and cold water in here. Got radiators in here. There's another one through there. I haven't got a key on me for this shed, but there's another. This shed goes right through. It's fantastic. So you've got all this space. Tumble dry washing machine is in here, and then obviously it leads you straight into the garage, which was just an open garage, but I've converted it into like a bit of a workshop. So that's an 8x4 sheet there. So I've got plenty of space to just work, you know, saws and things like that. So that's good. That's my little bit of scaffold that stays there. And then I partitioned this across, and I've got my own little room now. I've got Brucey on the wall. Got a picture of me when I was a cocky young bastard. Look at that. Look at all that big bouffant hair. Like, what does he think he looks like? Fucking Bros. And that was, so there. Here's my little man shed now. So partition that off. Nice and quiet in here. Because I've got two older kids from previous marriage. I've also got a 15-year-old stepson here. And the little sod can make a bit of noise when he's upstairs on the Xbox. And I'm a bit too old and miserable to want to put up with that, really. I've done all that with my two. So this is my little zen den, really. So I come out here. I can try and keep the old body in a bit of shape with my weights. I've got my little chair. And I've got my TV, which I can watch all my YouTube, Netflix up. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? I K-rendered the inside of this wall, actually, just to give that a try. So this was brick. I had a couple of bags of K-Ren left over, just to see what it would look like internally. Yeah, works well, actually. I only put a thin skim on that you can see it disappears with a brick there. So anyway, and I've got loads of storage up there. So it was a great house to buy for me personally. Because it had all this, and this was my tick boxes were. I had to be able to park my van on the drive for the obvious reasons, for safety and just security. I had to have somewhere for all my tools. Imagine not having this space. Where would all this stuff go? I mean, it's full. It's full of stuff. Tile cutters, dust extractors, paint tubs, you name it, it's in here. Sprayers, extra bits, clamps. Anyway, you know that you can guess, can't you? So yeah, that's what really sold the house to me, really. And the garden's just nice size, no real overlooking going on with the neighbours. The back gate is at the almost at the front of the house, so all my stuff just comes through here, straight into there, so you can't even get into the garage door. Garden was already quite established, so not being overlooked at all, really. See, it's lovely. Anyway, let's get back to the paint in hand. So this is the paint we left over from the job. Me and my old mate Paul, we do quite a bit of work together, although we're so busy now, we don't seem to work together a lot anymore because we're just so busy with our own stuff. He's more of a decorator and I'm more of a plasterer, so together we work well, but his son is at a working age now, so he takes his son along with him. So when our kids were small, obviously we just worked together all the time, but now our kids are a bit older. He's taking his son on, teaching him the trade, so I don't sort of need to be there so much with him. Anyway, so this is the colour, Skimming Stone, for Johnson's Cover Plus Vinyl Matte. It's a really good paint, actually. You know, if you're looking for not a high-end Tikkurila Caparol type paint, but you don't want the sort of rubbish, you know, the Screwfix own brand or the real cheap stuff. This is very good paint. Even the white, the ceiling white, it's really good quality. And you learn over the years, if you don't pay for a good quality paint or a medium quality paint, you're just wasting your time. You're putting so many more coats on things. Just pay the extra and get it done properly, really. So anyway, I'll get myself set up with some paint, and then I'll probably take you indoors while I'm painting and just have a waffle, really. I'm not using sprayers and things indoors. I can't be bothered with all that. So all I shall be using is, for most of the walls indoors, I like these. These are great. These little purdy things with these sort of jumbo mini rollers on. Let me just show you the end of it, how it works. Hold on. So the different to the normal sort of mini rollers you get these purdy frames, which are good. They're really good frames, very sort of well built and long lasting. And then these rollers have got like a bigger opening in them. Obviously that just slots on there, but they really spin well. And these sort of rollers, they hold a decent amount of paint and they lay it on flat. So that's all I'm going to be using today is a little brush for cutting in. And these are good. These deep paint wells. Homebase used to sell these. They last forever. Look, they're really deep. Yeah, Monarch by Monarch. Monarch deep paint well tray. I used to be able to pick these up in Homebase, but now Homebase has sort of disappeared. Hopefully you can get them online. But I've had this for years because they're so tough. Not like them throwaway crap you buy. It's just a sort of thing that can last you years and years. And what's great about them is you see this little opening. When you're painting, you can just move this paint tray about. I don't know if that's what it's designed for, but when you've got your roller and your brush in your hand, you can literally just walk about with this on the end of your foot. So they're fantastic. So that's what I'm going to be using today. That, and I'll get a brush out of the van. A little bit of sandpaper, and I'll see you inside again. Actually, I have got to go and look at a job this afternoon, about 4 o'clock. It's a job I start on Monday, but the customer is sort of very on the ball with stuff, and he wants to just go through things again. And you know all that, you just do it. Then it's only down the road. I can walk from here. I don't even need to drive. So that's where I'm going to be for the next few days, on and off. And that's decorating and plastering as well. So anyway, let's get some paint in here. Treat myself to a new box of the Hamilton Perfection brushes. I like the Hamilton Perfections. Generally, when I'm painting, I don't like to buy the cheap crap. I won't buy that throwaway rubbish out of wigs. I like the Hamilton Perfection. And I quite like is it the Harris stuff? Most time I like the Hamilton Perfection range. I just think it's perfect for this. You know, I'm not painting a palace. I'm not doing restoration work in a museum. I'm just generally doing people's houses. So it's obviously better than just the DIY stuff you're going to pick up. But yeah, nice stuff to Hamilton. Things like brushes and paint have gone mad lately. I mean, there's so much sort of stuff coming out, and brushes that can do this, brushes that do that, and anti-reflective paint. I've tried it all because I'm a bit of a sucker for all that, and it's all right. But it's, at the end of the day, it's this. It just does the same thing. Right, let's tip some of this in here, and let's put the old lid back on. I'm not going to need a load of paint. It really goes far, this stuff. Again, that's a good reason for buying paint that costs you a few more quid, because it just goes further and further. That would be my one tip to anyone starting out in decorating and DIY. Skip out the bottom end stuff. Skip out the top end stuff. Just go for mid-range. Right, let's turn the radio down, because I'll probably get a copyright strike if it picks anything up. I've lost my bloody phone stand. I'm in the kitchen at the minute. I hope you can hear me, because I've got this little wireless mic thing going on. I buy all this stuff in good faith to do filming with. You buy stands and like brackets for things, and I'm not very good at keeping hold of them, to be honest. I put them down. So I've got you set up on a GoPro on a time lapse over there. Let's show you that. This is where the magic happens. Right, am I pointing right? You can see the little screen there. Where is it? So we got the point. That's it. That's the GoPro filming myself on a time lapse. For whatever reason, I don't think it's going to be too interesting. Me painting and painting. Oh, I've got my screwdriver in again. Buy a decent set of screwdrivers. Don't buy that crap, and they'll last you, unless you lose them. These are my little speakers, my little, what do you call it, surround sound speakers. I'm not really a telly man, to be honest. I don't really watch films and telly. I find it's all pretty much the same stuff now. They've like run out of ideas, so they keep reinventing stuff. Let's put that down there. So what I'm going to do, there's bits of filling to be done, but I'm just going to give it all a coat first, and then see what needs filling really. I'll just show you a little box I made. Look, so you're probably wondering what that bit of wood here is on the wall for. That is for my fake like mantle thing. So I made this out of just some pine, and used a table saw for this. I didn't like the table saw, I took it back. Deadly thing. But I managed to just make this out of it. Made it look a bit distressed, you know. Hit it, scratched it, stained it, and it's a bit like a French cleat, but it's not. So just a bit of 4x2 on the wall there, and that just literally sits on that. It looks alright, doesn't it? Anyway, that's what that wood's for, if you're wondering. Yeah, this thing, this is just plastic. This epoxy thing's plastic. I was thinking of getting a log burner put in there. And then I thought to myself, why? Why do I want to spend all that money on a log burner? I've got a new boiler fitted. The cat eats her food there. She's not going to want to be near a log burner going on. And plus, I haven't used the log burner a lot, but when we've been away for weekends, you get these little cosy Airbnbs that have got a log burner in them. If you do have to go out and buy your own logs, it ain't cheap. And you soon get through them. That's what I noticed. I noticed how one evening, how many logs you can get through. You can burn a lot of money off. So you imagine that through the winter. It's probably not that that sort of better than having a boiler on the go, really. Just write it off of this. I don't know what to do with this, really. I'm not sure whether to keep it as that or block it in. I don't know. I suppose it looks right. I might get something better in there. I don't know what better would be than that, but anyway. So this paint's going on nice. What I really like to do when I am painting like this, I just like to get a coat on and then highlights any nicks and bumps and filling and stuff, really, rather than go around looking at stuff beforehand. It's stuff that might not be highlighted once it's painted, so it's not worth wasting your time going around filling first. I think just get the colour on, and then that first coat is obviously drying in, then taking in. You don't want to put filler on, because if you put your filler on first, then you've got no chance of getting any paint on if the filler's not dry, which is not productive. So just get a coat on the walls or your ceilings, whatever. That will be dry in half hour. Then you can start filling, and then at the end of the day, you can just go home, and time is doing all the drying for you. You're not watching it. That's the worst thing. So whenever I'm doing decorating, I always try and leave my filling till just before I go home, really. That way you're not standing there trying to maybe go on it too early with the brush or the paint. Just go home, let the filler dry overnight. You can come back to it. Actually, I did feel that before. That needs a rub down. So I'll get my hoover out and attach my sander to my hoover with a Festool. I buy all these things. I've got the big Festool dust extractor. But sometimes you just think, oh, I can't be asked to get that out and set it all up. I think we're all being sold stuff we don't need, if I'm honest. Now, you go online or you go on YouTube and you look at this new product that's come out and you think, oh, I've got to have that because it's like all singing, all dancing. And that's great. But when it comes to a practical situation and you've already got stuff everywhere, you think, do you know what? I can't be bothered to get that out of the van. I'm just going to rub it down, and then I've got a hoover up at the end of the job anyway. I'll take it in with that. So if you're anything like me, you end up spending 500 quid on a Festool dust extractor that I barely use, to be honest. So you don't need all these things, but we all get suckered into it, don't we? You imagine how these old boys used to do it years ago. I never had nothing like that, but they used to do some spot on work. That's why the broom is still in fashion, I suppose. You can't go wrong with a good broom, can you? Anyway, that's that cut in. So let me show you these. What side are you looking at there? These little Purdy rollers. They are fantastic, and I'll do all this room with this silly little roller. I won't be getting a big roller out for this. That's just the first dip of a brand new pile. So I stuck a little bit of water in this paint as well, not much. I probably put about that much in that tub, and that was 3/4 of a 10-litre tub. I'll probably put about that much water in it. Just give it a little stir around. That's already got filler on it. I'm not going to paint over that because I'll rub that down after. So these little Purdy rollers, you don't really get any splatter back with them either. Gets a nice finish on it. Anyway, I'm going to shut up for a minute I'm going to paint my wall when I come back to you. Okay, so that's all had a coat down on that wall there. I'm just going to start doing a bit of filling. My filler of choice for the internal stuff is this ready mixed Tupre. That's okay, I like that stuff. I like anything that's ready mixed. I don't want to be mixing stuff up. And the lid wasn't on in the back of the van, so I've got a load of crusties on top. But there's plenty of goodness down below there. So that's the filler I like to use. I don't like powdered filler. I don't like to keep mixing up and mucking about too much, really, if I don't have to. Sanding wise, I've got this little sanding block that I bought from, it's made by Fossa, yeah. And I think I got that from someone like Decorating Direct, and I bought a load of the pads that go with it. I've got a couple of other bits like this, but I just really like the little ergonomic sort of grip on that. Look really nice, and it is really nice as well, actually. And with that sander, which is ridiculous, that was about 17 quid. And I will be hooking it into my 500 odd quid's worth of bloody dust extractor. You could just put it into a Hoover, but I've got this now, so I'm going to make use of it. It's one of them things I bought, and I don't really use it a lot. But when it is good, it is good. You know, if you're using a like a chop saw or skill saw, or you know, any sort of sawing thing really, which has got the hose obviously attachment on it, and then you plug your saw into this. It's got a socket on it, so when you switch your saw on, this comes on, and it is great with the dust. So I think they've obviously, yeah, I think they've been clever enough to make this adapter on here fit in with this, because I suppose this is the sort of top selling one. So obviously that will just push onto there, if it will, yeah, that onto there, and then obviously I turn when it stays on. When I turn that on and sand, all the dust will just come straight through this and won't be falling onto my skirting. So that could have been a bit of a different shape. That, all right, could have been, yeah, that seems all right anyway. But that's the choice of sanding, but I'm not sanding yet. Just thought I'd show you. So anyway, let's get on cutting in the tops. Right, let's put you on my head. Just make sure everything looks alright in the mirror. So I've got a light on it. Look at that. Okay, right. So yeah, I'm just using this mini roller, this Purdy thing. It does roll nice, and this John O'Mat stuff, this Johnson vinyl mat, is beautiful paint. You can see, like, it just really goes on nice. Sometimes I can stay on a whole job with a roller this size. I know it seems ridiculous, but they're just so easy to wash out and manoeuvre, and you know, you can lay them in a tray with a brush next to it, and you ain't got to have two fingers on the go. Because I've nearly bought myself a an 18-inch roller. When I go on YouTube now, I see all these people with these 18-inch rollers like this, you know, with a roller that's about that wide, and they go on the wall and it covers it quickly. And that's probably all right if you're doing like plasterboard walls where they're dead flat. Actually, these are plasterboard walls. Unless you're in something huge, like maybe a huge American house with a lot of wall space. When you look around most domestics in England, how much scope have you got to stick an 18-inch roller on the wall? By the time you've gone like that, you're off again, you're cutting in again. There is no room for an 18-inch roller in a normal size, you know, 3-bedroom semi in England. I think they're too big. And plus that, you've got to wash the thing out, and that's going to be a pain, because not only have you got an 18-inch roller, you've also got an 18-inch scuttle or an 18-inch you know, tray. that you've got to try and get under a tap and wash out. So I stopped myself. I nearly ordered it off Screwfix yesterday. I think the roller cage, which was a Worcester one, the roller cage was about 19 quid. And then it was about 17 or 18 quid for the roller head. And then it was another 35 quid for a plastic scuttle. And I had to stop myself, and I thought, you know what, I'm getting suckered into this. Just stay how I'm comfortable. And I'm comfortable with normal 9-inch roller. Sometimes I use a 12-inch, very rare though. But these little purdy things are great. I really like them. You just get in there and it does its thing, lays it on so flat. I mean, that's no different to spraying really. I'm a bit of the same with the sprayers. Like, I've got a bit suckered into buying sprayers and using them, but I mean, look at that. It's a lovely little finish there. It's a very nice dear, very nice indeed dear. I've got to rub that down. I've painted over that. It's previously filled before. Don't judge me on that. I will rub it down. Yeah, so the spraying I got into a few years ago now, and I bought all the bits and pieces, and I nearly ordered myself another Graco sprayer for about 1200 quid, and I've stopped myself because I've got sprayers. I think I need to stop watching YouTube and watching all these people. Look like their work is so much better than mine. And again, a lot of it is the old Yanks, and they're spraying these huge houses in America with loads of wall space, loads of ceiling space. So that in that, you know, a sprayer is perfect for that. But not in Mrs. Brown's lounge. Whoever Mrs. Brown is, but you know what I mean. You don't need to start getting sprayers out. So yeah, that's just one quick coat on there. It's all looking good. I will give it a little nib down in between coats. It's all looking good. So you can see it's quite a contrast now between the white. You couldn't really see it earlier. When it's dry, it looks like that. That's been done a few, well, about 3 months ago, that back wall. So it dries in at that colour. So yeah, it'd be nice. It's going to warm the whole room up. But I've got to go all the way around with it because there's no real stop in here. So by the time I've come away from here, and then it's really, I've got to follow it all the way upstairs, changed my doors and handles a while ago. I like these doors, Howden's doors. Wasn't too bad, they're solid, about 80 quid each. Yeah, so I'm going to come all the way up here with it, but again, there's not a great deal of wall space there. So let's go back down again. Right, so let's switch this off. I don't want to over film because it's going to get pretty boring. I've got to change the kitchen at some point. Tiny little kitchen in this house. Ideally, I've got a front garden here which doesn't get used because you sort of come in the side at an angle, so the front garden never gets used. Ideally, I'd love to take this out 3 metres, push this kitchen right out, and that would give me scope for a downstairs loo as well then, sort of coming round meeting. So I don't know if that's something I will do in the future. It's definitely in my head, but at the minute, where do you fit these things in? Work is busy, life is busy. I don't want to get anyone else in to do it. I haven't got the money for that, but I would dearly like to get some plans drawn up, get them submitted, and then get the footings done, and then you can sort of do it at your own leisure. Then I think once the footings are in, I believe you sort of can take your foot off the gas, and then I'd probably get a bricklayer in. That's all I would need really, a bricklayer. I'll probably do the roof myself. Obviously an electrician I would need. A lot of the plumbing I could probably sort out myself really. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's turn this off now. Enough waffle from me. Right everybody, it's evening time now. I didn't film myself painting too much of that because it would have got boring for you, but I thought I'd show you the end result. There's the old, everything's put back again, all painted. So that colour was only just a different colour to the white, but a lovely colour it is, it too. And so there you go. Nicely transformed. The wife is happy. And you'll know what that means. So yeah, that's it. And look who I'm watching on the old telly, mate. It's my old mate Smurfy. How you doing, Smurfy? My old mate, you're right. He's a card, old Smurfy, isn't he? He's doing all right there, mate. He's plastering the ceiling, and I'm sure he's using the old 20x5 carbon steel trowel, mate. He certainly is, mate. And doesn't he do a smashing job with that? It's good luck to you, Smurfy. You carry on cracking on there, my old mate.